Hi guys.
Hello.
Welcome back. It's the episode we've all been waiting for. This is our Gaylor ep.
Yes.
If you don't know what Gaylor is, hang on tight.
Yep.
And go along on this journey with us.
Yeah.
I'm Math Scabby, and we're gonna talk about what we learned this week.
Yeah.
Take it away, Gabs.
Do you want to maybe skip what we learned this week and talk about what's going on in Iran?
Sure. Oh my god. Yeah, sorry, fuck. I'm the one who's like, can we let's carve out like a little bit of time? And I keep forgetting. Okay, so
Before Math continues, we wanted to give a content warning because we will be talking about the violence in Iran. There are timestamps in the bottom of this video for when we switch topics.
yeah, as you may or may not have heard, there's I don't know what else to call it, but like another revolution happening in Iran right now. And I'm from Iran. I was born there, and I lived there till I was 5, and then my parents immigrated for reasons very much connected to everything going on in Iran right now. If you don't know, in like the 70s there was a oh sorry, that was like a terrible throw. There was a revolution that happened in Iran in the 70s, and it was the Islamic Revolution, and it kind of became very like religiously intense, and there were a lot of laws that were passed at that point, like by these religious figureheads who were also like simultaneously like the head of government. And it was just kind of intense, and people's lives changed for the worse, honestly. Like a lot of women's rights were stripped from them. A lot of people had to, like, even the way that you, like, there was like gender segregation, and there was like a lot of like you couldn't be with a man unless you were like married to him. And my parents got like arrested like a million times for like going on dates, or like my mom for wearing nail polish, or like shit like that, right? Like there's just like this crazy highly religious, like extremist shit that went down in the 70s, and it drove a lot of people out of Iran, including my family, who immigrated in 2003. And so what's happening now, and a couple times in the last like 20 or so years has happened like a few times as well, but now it's like at its highest peak, is this resistance from like the citizens and like people who are really affected by this. You may or may not have heard. So what kind of triggered everything was there was this young woman named Mahsa Amini, and she was basically killed, like murdered by the morality police in Iran that are like not unlike the Taliban basically. And they told her that she was like wearing her hijab wrong, like it was like too low on her head and you could like see some of her hair, and they like dragged her, they like beat her, all that. We should maybe put it like a content warning before this or something. But they did a lot of like violent shit to her, and they've continued to like murder and like beat up a lot of protesters, especially like women, queer people, trans people, who are really leading this resistance and this kind of like new revolution. Yeah. And I guess like the good news kind of is that it's working, and the resistance seems to be really like genuinely getting somewhere. And there have been a few times in the last like 20 years where it's like kind of been successful to a point, but then the government like shuts down the internet, they silence people, they murder people, they jail people, and so it kind of like dies down again. But this time it's really like, it's basically so bad. People are so sick of it. They are so fed up that even people who wouldn't have resisted before are joining like forces, and they're all kind of realizing now that it's like more accessible to kind of fight back. And even though obviously the most like radical people are like leading the resistance, it's now reached a point where like everyday people can also kind of join in too, and that makes the whole movement stronger and stronger and stronger. So that's kind of the good news, that like we're getting somewhere, and there seems to be some traction, and there are worldwide protests, and there are like calls to action and all of that. But it is still really bad. People are still getting murdered. I think up to this point it's been like 200 people that have been recorded. There are a lot of political prisoners, writers, artists, like journalists, anybody who basically says anything, athletes. You may have seen a couple of them went viral. There was like an athlete who was a rock climber who performed, who like did her whatever, she competed
on the rock climbing competition without a headscarf,
without a hijab, totally. And that was like very not okay for her to do. And then when she came back, she was like, she dealt with like some trouble, and like there were all these repercussions and whatever else. And there was another there's a soccer player who, after he scored a goal, he pretended that he was like cutting off his hair, because a big symbol of this whole resistance has been cutting off your hair to show that, like, because the whole point of this in the first place was because like Mahsa Amini was killed because she wasn't covering her hair. So a lot of people are cutting their hair in protest. and like myself, Gabby and Tony, we went to and like some of our other friends went to a protest like about a month ago, I think, at this point, and they've been going on pretty much like every Saturday. My mom is literally at one today. Like she goes to all of them in Richmond Hill and like all of that. And so you know, they're happening, and they're happening around the world, and there's like a lot of good stuff that's been coming out of this, and a lot of like traction that's being made. And the Iranian government, you can tell like every day and every week they're kind of getting a little bit more desperate to kind of ramp up their, I guess, like, what's the word for it, like ramp up their attack on these people, because they're trying to silence it. But even in recent days, I don't know if you saw my Instagram story, there was like a lesbian couple who like kissed publicly with no hijab. There have been like queer and trans people who've been holding up like pride flags and things like that. And so you know, and they're the ones leading this resistance. So we just kind of wanted to take a minute to like talk about it. If you didn't know what was going on, kind of like now you do. And if you're able at all to either like post something or talk to your friends about it, even, or like even just keep it in your mind. Like there's not much to do practically speaking in terms of like sending money or things like that, because you can't, like, it's not going to go through really, or it depends, like you need to have a really credible source, but most of them like don't go through. So like there aren't that many ways to share resources, and it's not like we can all like fly to Iran and like join them. Like there's a lot of difficulties around giving them that kind of practical help, but honestly they've got it, and they know what they're doing, and these people have lived there, and they know what the government looks like, and they know what this resistance looks like. They will, I hope, prevail and win, and it's looking like hopefully pretty good, and it will go on as long as it hopefully has to, until like the government is overthrown, honestly. But up until then, if you can just keep it in your thoughts, and if there is a call to action that you see, like a petition or something, those are really helpful. In general, I will say, like, people have their own different like personal beliefs about how this will be won, but I feel that like sanctions against Iran, especially US sanctions against Iran, really hold back this country and the people in it who are trying to like do shit. I'll link a couple articles so you can maybe learn a little bit more and read it more eloquently from someone who's much better educated on this than I am. But US sanctions against Iran are really detrimental to the people of Iran who are trying to get resources and like get support from outside sources to like fight back. And you know what? We all know the US tampers with shit all the time, and it like is not called for, and nobody asks for it. It's not warranted. It's always like they're just in everybody's fucking business. And so if we can get them out of Iran's business, that would be a really great practical step beyond just like awareness and like talking about it. But there are petitions to do that, and like calls to action for the US government to kind of like stop getting involved in all these ways that are truly detrimental to the people who are trying to like genuinely overthrow this government, because you know, people in the States will say a lot of shit, and like these government leaders will like say that like this is unethical or like inhumane or whatever, but they are still signing a million different documents that permits the government of Iran to do what it is they're doing. So long story short, read some of the shit in the description, keep them in your thoughts, and really, like, I know we talked about this maybe like a couple episodes ago, but let's like always remember like that queer and trans people are at the forefront of so many of these things, because they truly understand what it is to organize and push back, and they understand that like you will not win any of this by joining or like infiltrating from the inside. Like you have to resist, you have to topple the shit from the outside. You know, fucking all cops are bastards here and there and everywhere, like shit like that. You know, if you're ever trying to forcefully get people to abide by things using like violence and whatever, you've already lost this like train of reason and logic. You're already doing it incorrectly, and so let alone like murdering people, obviously. And so I don't know where I landed with that, but read some shit below, spread some info, and
talk about it with the people that you know.
Show up to protest if you feel comfortable. I will say, like, there's a lot of privilege in going to like protests and gatherings here in North America or like Europe or wherever else where you're safe, I guess, is what I'm saying. And that it's really like big to show up and to show that people still care about this and they're still talking about this, and that we all hope that it will be successful and that my ass can go back to Iran one day, because I would love to do that, and I would love for my friends to go there. There are a lot of refugees and people seeking asylum who would love to go back. if not even live there, obviously like visit or like see some part of this like place that is our home that we can't access because it's dangerous for us to. And Iran is beautiful. Don't listen to any of this third world bullshit that you hear about and like propaganda. It is beautiful, and the people are so smart and cool, and everything. The culture is so rich. The architecture is beautiful. The technology is great. They are not this like backwards third world impoverished country, and like even the ones that are not that way because they chose to be, obviously. Yeah. So, you know, also be mindful of like how you talk, I guess, about like the Middle East and these places in the world that are historically have like all this conflict surrounding them. Yeah. Thank you for giving me that 20-minute long. Sorry, I know that was so long. But
no, that was perfect. I think that was really good. Very eloquent, articulate.
Thank you.
As per usual.
I think I had way more in me than I even thought I did. I was like, read the articles below, and I was like, and another thing. While we're here, let me just
and another
thing.
No, I think it's good. It was really good.
Thank you.
Yes.
Let's talk about
now into the whitest woman
hard
alive.
Pivot to the whitest woman truly alive. You know, you gotta variety is the spice of life. And you know, if you like me this is like hard on you and you've been thinking about it a lot, whatever, it's good to laugh about some shit, including the whiny white women of the world. Enter Taylor Allison Swift.
Yes,
we love her music, truly. We love it. We listen to every single album. I literally had a midnight's listening party.
Yeah.
I'm
so sad I couldn't go to because I was literally moving the next day.
Well, we're going to do for the re-releases. We're going to do it for all the re-releases.
Beautiful. I'm there. Reputation, cannot wait.
We'll do it. Reputation is going to be so good. Me and my roommate literally love Taylor Swift. We have like a shrine to her in our console table. It's not like a shrine. It's like just like a letterboard, and we like reference her songs, whatever. But it's like we love her. I have her pictures of her on my wall, the gay ones. You know the ones. We'll put them up here.
Yes.
You know, we love her. She is kind of deeply annoying, but we love her music and mixed feelings. And also, we think she's gay. Take it away, Gabby.
There's just so much like there. Like Taylor, I swear to God, she hides queer shit in all of her songs. Not to mention she's just like overtly gay. Like I know like people say like don't speculate about people's sexualities, which yes, she's a celebrity and she knows people are doing it, and I swear to God she plays into it.
She's untouchable. Like there is nothing
untouchable.
Yeah. Sorry. What is that song? With no. Oh, Meghan Trainor. Okay, sorry. Sidebar. What is with Meghan Trainor being on every corner of TikTok recently and everybody using her song? It's like good. I get it's like not that good.
I could wear my Gucci. Oh, yeah. I skip them now. I've heard it too many times.
I have to. Somebody said
TikTok is good. Like I can't listen to it anymore.
Somebody said she makes Christmas music, but like all year round. Like that's the vibe. Yes. You know, I like her. I think she's cute. I think she's fun, but like I don't understand why she's being pushed like that U2 album that got downloaded on our phones all of a sudden in 2013. That's what it. You know what I mean? That's the vibes that I'm getting. You know how we all woke up and Apple put this godforsaken album on all our phones? That is how I feel every time I go onto TikTok. I'm like, can you ease it on the gas pedal a little bit? Like fuck. And Chris Olsen is, I guess, her social media manager now.
Must be. This is a huge segue.
Sorry. Sorry. No, please do. Sorry. Yeah.
I took my Vyvanse today.
Good. Oh, I didn't. Sorry. Good. See, exactly. You already know what I'm saying. Continue.
Taylor Allison Swift. Okay. Let's be real. 1989 about Diana Agron.
Carly? 1989 simultaneously about Diana Agron and Carly. Red has more Diana Agron.
Yeah.
Rep is like, all Carly.
And Folklore and Evermore, every single fucking song she wrote from a man's perspective. Let's be real. That's gay.
And you know what kills me is, you know, we have so much evidence. Like, we're not going to walk you through all of it because it's so much. We'll link some Gaylor evidence, whatever the fuck, like PowerPoints down below, or like whatever else. There's so much that is inarguably gay. Like, she goes on BBC Radio 1, she sings that Riptide song, the Michelle Pfeiffer one, and she goes, I really wanted to reimagine what this would sound like if a woman sang it. Keeps all the she, her pronouns. This is relevant because years later, when she releases Folklore and Evermore, she says, "Oh, it's from like it's like a boy's perspective, man's perspective." Okay, then why years ago when you sang that song from a woman's perspective did you keep? Because you can't have both. You can't have both. You know what I mean? The logic does not carry for both things.
Yeah.
Shit like that. shit like fucking
Also in maroon, sorry,
no please,
you said this last week, but like the incense line, like that is so gay.
We swept incense off your vinyl shelf. Let me tell you something about incense. Lesbians only, and like the bi occult women of the world, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the bi witches.
Yeah.
And the lesbians.
Taylor Swift
Incense.
straight up had the bi colors in her fucking hair. In Me. No, was it Me? Look what she made. No.
It was
That's
you need to calm down.
Yeah.
You Need to Calm Down is a trailer park, town, village, whatever, filled to the brim with exclusively queer and trans people. And you're telling me she's the only straight person who lives there?
Yeah.
You're telling me this village that she lives in is created with all these gay people, and she's the only straight bitch in there?
Yeah. No.
Tell me more.
With the bi colors in her hair?
Huh? You're telling me right where you left me off of fucking, you know.
That's about a man? Not
she literally says 7 years in heaven. That doesn't even line up with when she met Joe.
Yeah.
She met
it's Carly Kloss.
Who she met when she was 23. She released that album when she was 30.
Yeah.
Like, you do
7
the math.
years. 7 years.
You do the math. Okay, but the most damning evidence, I gotta tell you, Gabby, this is the one thing that like a lot of people don't know this. Also, I think it's like a deeper cut. And I really, the second you hear this, I don't understand how you would be able to like.
Oh, I think I know what you're going to talk about.
On Instagram. So
Jack Antonoff?
No. Oh, Jack Antonoff too. You talk about that after.
Okay.
On Instagram, Carly Kloss. I actually don't know if we've ever talked about it.
I don't know.
Maybe we have. Carly Kloss posts a photo of herself and her husband, fiance at the time, whatever. What's his fucking name?
I don't know.
Josh Kushner.
Oh.
Josh Kushner, who's also tied to the Trump family, okay? Josh Kushner, right? They're like on this helicopter and they're napping, I guess, which like, first of all, you cannot nap on a helicopter. If you've ever been in a helicopter, that shit is so loud. No one's napping in a helicopter. So it's like very staged photo, obviously. But let's pretend. Let's entertain the fact that they're napping on this helicopter. In the comments, someone comments and goes, when are you gonna like stop pretending that you're together? Like, when are you gonna stop acting like this? I will find the exact comment in a bit, but she was like, when are you gonna stop pretending that you're like actually married and like this is all fake? Her dad, Carly Kloss's dad, likes that comment from his official Instagram account. And I saw that comment with my own 2 eyes on my own phone, and I clicked on the likes, and I saw Carly Kloss's dad in the likes, and I clicked on his profile. I went to his profile. It was his official profile.
Wow.
His real profile. I saw that with my eyes. I touched it with my fingers. I saw it on my phone. Once I saw that, I was like, so your dad literally just confirmed that this marriage is not real.
Yeah, and that Taylor Swift and Carly Kloss are together.
Exactly. And they had to delete it because the dad clearly didn't get enough PR training that day.
No.
Like, how are you going to walk around that?
No,
How can you?
Yeah.
Her dad? Oh.
Yeah.
Also, a fan makes a Carly Kloss and Taylor fan art, whatever, one time, tweets it at like Taylor Swift or her team or whatever else. Yeah. Taylor Swift's mom personally goes and gets this picture painting, whatever it is, from the fan. Not Taylor Swift's dad, Carly Kloss's dad hangs it up in their house.
What's up with Carly Kloss's dad is like, you need to come out.
Carly Kloss's dad?
Out.
You need to come.
You're being too loud.
You know, what if that was the
OG?
If
that was the original?
I don't put it past her.
Fuck.
I don't put it past her. Carly Kloss's dad, like, is rooting for them, or like was rooting for them. Can I also say, Haley Kiyoko and Becca Tilley, when they first started telling people they were together, they said that they went to Taylor Swift first.
Yeah.
In what world does a lesbian couple go to their straight best friend first to break the news?
No. Yeah, no.
Do you mean? Like, and you know, listen, if you're a straight person, maybe this is really like, some of it still feels like a reach for you and you don't believe someone is gay until they flat out tell you. I'm sorry that your people built a world where people can't just flat out say they're gay, but they have. So take responsibility for it and recognize that queer people can't just say they're queer all the time.
Yeah.
Say the Jack Antonoff thing because I love this Jack Antonoff.
Okay, so Jack fucking Antonoff says in like some interview, I think it was like a pretty big interview.
It's a radio
too.
fully.
Yeah.
Like, on air.
And he was like, how did it start? Because he was like,
he says something like, I love working with gay women or whatever.
I love working with gay women. I've worked with a lot of lesbians. And the person's like, oh, you like,
they were talking about Taylor.
They were talking about Taylor. And then he goes, I love working with lesbians. I've worked with a lot of lesbians. Oh, and then he's like, the interviewer's like, oh, like Taylor? And he's like, oh, no, you know, like I've worked with Tegan and Sarah. And he's done like what, one song with Tegan and Sarah?
Literally.
Like he has not worked with that many lesbians.
Yes. Okay, here's the
transcript. Yes, pull it up.
You be Jack, I be interviewer.
Okay. There's a better chance that if I'm working with
working.
Hold on.
I think it's just a typo.
There's a better chance that if I'm working with a woman, we're going to get along. They're not going to say like, this dude fucking gave it to me last night, or like I just piled through like these 4 guys over the weekend. Sorry, I'm just rereading this for the first time and I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, why do you say that in the first place? Sorry,
what
Jack.
Is that?
Okay, interviewer goes, haha, you're not going to have that conversation with Taylor Swift?
No.
Haha, okay.
I like women, and particularly gay women.
Yeah. Is she gay?
No, but I work with a lot of
I work with
a lot with Tegan and Sarah, and they're gay.
Are you sure we don't have a breaking story here? Did you just tip it? Well, that's nice. I mean,
he
totally,
literally like, fucked up and was like, I need to cover my tracks.
Like, what the hell? Because he literally says, oh, I don't like working with straight women because they talk all this shit about all the guys they're with. And just to break this down one level further, the interviewer goes, oh, like Taylor Swift doesn't talk about all the guys she's with? And Jack's like, literally like, no. And the interviewer's like, okay. And then for some reason, Jack feels like he needs to dogpile onto this and clarify.
I like women, and particularly gay women.
Immediately after the interviewer talks about Taylor Swift specifically.
This fucking man.
Like, huh? You already know that he got a strongly worded phone call email the next day being like, you know, even with Diana Agron, there's Wonderland makes a million different references to her. Diana Agron was famously obsessed with Alice in Wonderland.
Yes.
Her Tumblr blog, like the URL was like, we all go mad or whatever.
Yeah.
That's a line in Wonderland.
Yeah.
Diana Agron had a door in her house where everybody doodled on it and wrote jokes. Taylor Swift has a lyric that goes, the joke that we wrote on your door. Like, how much more do you need?
Yeah.
How much more do you need? So anyways, now that we've established she's gay, and if at this point you don't believe us, like, I get fucked. Like, I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how else to like prove this to you. And I'm not interested in proving it to people who just like won't listen to the facts at this point, you know? Like, you're choosing to be in denial.
Yeah. Yes.
So let's say she's gay, bi, whatever. She's some queer.
I don't know. You don't really believe she's with what's his name? Joe.
I don't, Joe. I don't.
I think she could be.
She could be. I just have a really hard time believing it because, another piece of evidence, and this will tie into both these things.
Yes.
Calvin Harris.
Oh.
Tweets.
Oh, yeah, I remember this.
And has to delete these tweets, right? Calvin Harris and Taylor Swift were together or whatever, right? Like, so a little while after they break up, he tweets something.
He's like,
he
I'm
says,
tired of being a beard, or like she insinuates Taylor's his beard.
It gets better. Calvin Harris. Last year, I grew a big old beard in order to be taken seriously by the Grammys as a producer. It worked to an extent. My Producer of the Year nomination came through, and I was happy the beard was performing as well as I had hoped, ... But unfortunately, this weekend, I learned that even a new beard has its limitations. On Sunday, I lost out to the incredible Greg Kurstin. A big old beard can only take you so far. An important lesson learned that I am happy to pass forward to all of you good people. Now my beard is gone. Remember, this is post-breakup. The experiment completed, and I can move forward with 2018. God bless, and thank you for your support. 3 exclamation points.
It's giving Ryan and Kelsey from High School Musical.
Literally. What else do you say to that? Like, what else is there to say to something like that? Like, he literally said, beard, beard, beard. Okay, and I'm going to expose myself for a second. So in my final year of university, I took a seminar class. Yes. I took a seminar class where we had to write a major final essay. It was like a research paper. Because the pandemic hit, I was not able to interview any of my like people. I was talking about like sports and women, and like I was interviewing a bunch of rugby players. This is another conversation for a different day. But that fell through. I couldn't see it through. So I pivoted, and I had to write about something that I could just like research on my own. So I wrote about like queer women celebrities, like lesbian celebrities in particular. And there was like the last 5 pages is all about Taylor Swift and the speculation, whatever else. And there's so much that I've found in my time about like Whitney Houston and her like lover who like they were together and it couldn't come out until after her death. So much PR shit. Shelley Wright, who's in country music, who's talked extensively about how suffocating it is to be in this like Hollywood machine where they like do not let you say shit. Kristen Stewart has talked about it. Elliot Page has talked about it. Fucking Queen Latifah has a wife and a baby. Did you know that? If you didn't know that, that's all you need to know about why Taylor Swift could very much be gay. These people are so good at building these illusions, these beard. Colton Hayes talks extensively about his bearding.
Yes, I remember
he talks
that.
extensively about his bearding. This is not new outlandish shit. That's all I have.
It's like Hollywood culture. I mean, it's just like so ingrained. You cannot come out. They will bury you, or they will bury that information about you. So
Totally. And people are like, well, you know, she really wanted to, like, she would come out, like,
she's
whatever.
not going to, because that's going to out other people too.
Exactly.
She's never going to come out.
Exactly. And at this point, Karlie Kloss is not just Karlie Kloss. Karlie Kloss is Karlie Kloss, who's married to Josh Kushner, who is part of the Kushner family, who is part of the Trump family. And that has, like, implications, guys. Like, I don't, like...
Yeah.
And even beyond that, if she really wanted to, and none of these people were involved, she's making so much money. She's such an internationally renowned, like, superstar.
Yep.
And we know she's a capitalist queen, which we can talk about the Ticketmaster shit. Like, we know she loves money.
Yes.
You know? And
She
so
does.
she's not going to come out because she's going to, you guessed it, lose money. Like,
she'll lose so much money. Yep.
and, like, popular opinion and, like, whatever, and like there might be places that she won't even be able to tour and whatever else. Like, it is not as easy as, well, why does she just like come out? This is not like your neighbor on the corner of the street coming out. This is Taylor Swift. Like,
there are repercussions, there are
Massive
consequences, and they're just not consequences she's going to take
yeah
unless she does it like right before she dies. I think.
So 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo style. Yeah, exactly. If you haven't read 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, literally just spark notes it or whatever else. Also, the series is coming out with like Jennifer Beals.
Yes.
It's gonna be made into a TV show or whatever. And it's
That's like Taylor Swift. Like,
it's literally about 2 celebrity like Hollywood starlets like being together and like bearding and like all this other shit.
And never being able to come out publicly and
until
only,
after their death.
Yes, exactly. So
crazy. And so I don't believe she's with Joe personally. Honestly, I don't.
that's fair.
Every photo I've seen of them
I know.
together,
This is true.
they
never attend anything together.
And it's all under the guise of privacy, which again is why I think she's queer, because a lot of her songs and themes and how seriously she takes like this relationship, she's like, if people knew about us, we both have big reputations. If people knew about us, we wouldn't be able to be together. Who knew who the hell Joe was before? I'm even blanking on his
Joe
last name.
Alwyn.
Alwyn. See? Who knew who the hell this guy was until she was like with him? Like nobody was gonna talk about you. You do not both have bigger reputations. Like she's like, I know places we can go and hide, like dark rooms.
Like he can go walk to Loblaws.
It's
and
so
it would be fine.
Nobody would know who the fuck he is, except for 5 teenage girls.
Yes, exactly.
So I have a really hard time. Like I think at some point, especially after you've been in a relationship for that long, you're a little less intense about this like privacy element. Another theme that I wrote in my essay was about privacy. Guess who is private? Queen Latifah with her wife and her baby. Guess who is private? Jodie Foster with her 2 kids and her wife for decades. Privacy is this guise to get interviewers to shut the fuck up about your love life. And to have people stop speculating.
Well, there's also like historically in queer women history, there's been like tools queer women in Hollywood also have used to communicate with each other that they're
Yeah.
queer. Like, oh god, I can't remember, but there was a whole club back in like the 30s or whatever that queer women would use. There was like code words that they would use to communicate with each other so that they could know like, oh, like we're gonna go hook up with each other. Like Agatha, I forget her last name, but she was like a Hollywood person, and she was like notoriously a lesbian.
Just pausing to say that I was thinking of Marlene Dietrich and Katharine Hepburn, who I don't know if they were together, but they were notoriously like undercover lesbians back in the day.
And she like was part of this whole queer circle, and it was like exchanging flowers, like violets, or like, I don't know, like it was like you would wear a color one day so that someone else would know that you were queer, so that you could then go hook up with them. But they all had husbands, they all had beards. Like, it's just been historically such a huge part of like Hollywood. Like, you're not allowed to come out, but it exists, and all these people are doing these things behind closed doors and behind PR like relationships.
Yes, totally.
Yeah.
And we still do it today. Like, fucking even lavender haze that everybody was talking about. Like, lavender. Let me tell you something about lavender. I have a lavender tattoo. My last 3 ex-girlfriends have lavender tattoos. Gabby has a lavender tattoo. Fran, I'm sure one day you will get a lavender tattoo also. Like, literally, she's doing one right now. Lavender? You want to talk to me about lavender?
Yeah.
I got some fighting words about lavender.
Lavender literally is like a queer, like it is part of queer history.
Lavender menace was a term that straight people used to talk about lesbians, to talk about like to just call them lesbians without calling them lesbians. We were literally called lavender menaces. There was a lavender scare in the 70s, 80s. These are terms that you can Google and a million gay things will pop up around it. Yeah. There's a lesbian bar in Toronto called Lavender Menace. Yeah. Like, you're joking. Yeah. You're joking. Like, she must be. Also, 1950s shit in that song. Yeah. Not unlike 1950s by King Princess, who she says she loves. Like,
oh, yes. Also, but I'm not sure if my date is wrong because, okay, obviously my memory is shit. So Lavender Menace was also like when it was being used against lesbians, they took the term and then they created it as like a way to protest. Yes. In the 50s. Yes. And like into the 60s and later, 70s, yeah. Stuff,
but they had T-shirts that said Lavender Menace. I find that
pretty like, yes, that's a strong coincidence. Yes. You're gonna use Lavender Haze as the title of your like only love song on this album, maybe other than Sweet Nothing. Yeah, but like, yeah, lavender. Like, you know what also kills me? I was like, she could have named it any other thing. She could have called it like mauve, like whatever the fuck else. Maroon, like, but you know what kills me? I was like, oh, she could have said violet, but she also couldn't have said violet because violet is also gay. Yeah, and I had a moment where I was like, like, you know, like you have to be intentional about this shit. And she is intentional. She says it all the time. She's like, I plan shit out. You're telling me she plans shit out 3 years in advance. Yeah. She plants Easter eggs into her clothing. Yeah. You're telling me she's not doing the fucking research? Yeah. Like,
the biggest Easter egg for me when she says Easter eggs can be on clothing or in jewelry. She does an Entertainment Weekly cover where she's wearing a denim jacket and a bunch of pins. Amongst the pins, a rainbow pin, a rainbow enamel pin, and a tombstone that says I tried with a daisy in front of it. A daisy not unlike the daisy she draws in her notebook that we got from the Reputation. Like, we saw her lyrics, her handwritten lyrics, not unlike the same daisy on the car dashboard of the Big Sur trip she takes with Karlie Kloss, not unlike the daisies she sends to Karlie Kloss on her birthday as they FaceTime together and then post about it, not unlike the daisies that pop up all over her clothing and like everything else. Like, and the Vogue shoot that she did with Karlie Kloss, and then the spread is called 1 for the money, 2 for the show. Yes. Yeah. 1 for the money. Champagne Problems.mp3.
God, yeah.
What else do you want? Yeah. What else do you want?
No, you're right.
Okay, lead Ticketmaster. You take it over.
Yeah, Ticketmaster. So Taylor Swift's post, I mean, everybody knows what happened with Ticketmaster. Like, basically, they sent out all the pre-sale links and it literally sold out. And I saw TikToks of people doing the math of, like, how many seats are actually available. And there are maybe 6,000 seats per concert available. But literally, those are probably all spoken for people that Taylor's invited or, like, reps or, I don't know, whatever. There's no way the tour isn't sold out, and it's just kind of crazy that happened with pre-sale codes, and the fact that Taylor Swift then posted a story that was so like blamey. It was so like she didn't take any ownership, she didn't offer any solutions. She was just like, okay, next time on Survivor, sorry.
I was gonna like that.
But like next time I will like we'll hope for better. But like she was like, what did she say? She said we talked to them so many times
to make sure
that they could do this, and then they couldn't, and it just was like, yeah, but you were also part of those conversations too. Like this has clearly happened with many artists on like many shows, like any Harry Styles concert, Olivia Rodrigo. You get to the queue, you get stuck in that for hours, you get to the front, and then there are no tickets left. It's a common thing. Like, people know this happens with Ticketmaster. So, really, you're going to be selling out a tour that's going to sell out 2.4 to 3 million tickets. I feel like you need to have a better game plan.
Can I this blew my mind when I heard about it. She would need to, based on the volume of traffic on the site, Taylor would need to perform over 900 stadium shows, almost 20 times the number of shows she's doing, which is a stadium show every single night for the next 2.5 years.
Holy fuck.
To meet the demand that like the site racked up. Which brings me to my next point. Why are you doing an Eras tour?
Yeah.
Why are you doing a greatest hits tour when you just released an album and you don't think that it's going to get like possibly double to triple the traffic that it would if you were just touring Midnights?
Yes. And you just know all the good songs are going to get buried. She's going to play mostly Midnights. Maybe like there's not a single way she's going to play more than one song off of Evermore.
And think about the re-release. Like the re-release of Red had like what 25 songs on it.
Oh my god, the vault tracks are incredible. And you're going to do the Eras tour now. Like save it for after you do like a tour for what
the last 4 albums.
Lover, Folklore, Evermore, and Midnights. Girl, you have too many albums.
So that's why I'm like, is she just gonna like
She's
drop
like
all the
3-day-long
re-releases
I know, like
before, which is also
but that's
weird.
I know.
All of this is so weird, and I don't know. Like every day, I'm like, you know, I don't know if you watch the Evermore like Long Pond Cabin whatever like documentary. She says like when she's talking about I guess this was actually Folklore when she's talking about the lakes. She's like kind of talking about, and Jack Antonoff is like, you know, they're having a conversation about how she might just like up and disappear and like go live in a cabin in the woods, and I'm like, is that the plan? Truly, because every day I get closer to being like, okay, we're almost at album 13, which you know is going to be her last one.
Oh yeah,
probably, right?
Yeah.
Like she's already made it, you know. She's doing a greatest hits tour basically. She's about to drop all the re-releases. So are you about to go and disappear into the cabin in the woods with your lesbian lover Zoe Kravitz? You know what I mean? Who they were in a pod together. Just take that in. Sorry.
No. All I said was I wouldn't put it past her.
Like truly.
Yeah.
So that was weird.
Yeah.
She's also the merch and the streams and everything. The cycle is such a money grab.
Oh, everything. I feel like Midnights too is just a money grab album. Like everything on it, not to like shit on Midnights, but it just sounds like recycled like previous albums. Like I think there are some really good songs. I love Maroon. I like Karma. I think that's a bop.
Karma's a bop.
I actually prefer the 3 a.m. Midnights songs
me
more
too.
than Midnights.
Me
like
too.
I think The Great War is good. I think
I like What If Could Have Should Have. That one's kind of cool.
that was good too. Bigger Than the Whole Sky. I like that too. But like,
oh, Dear Reader, Dear Reader is something we should talk about in a second.
Oh, yes. No. You take this one away because you discovered this.
Okay,
yes.
Dear Reader is literally her being like, don't look up to me. I'm not going to be your savior. I'm not going to be your hero. I mean, anti-hero is also that, but Dear Reader is her being like, dear reader, like how much more do you need?
To me, like anti-hero is her being like, yeah, I've done a lot of shitty things in my life and maybe I'm the problem, but dear reader to me is like, you want me to be your queer icon, I will never be that for you. Yeah.
And she also, in that song, she literally says, like, if you knew my life, if you knew that I was stumbling home like alone by myself to like an empty house, she literally says an empty house. Where's Joe? That's part of why I'm like,
I know.
How is she in this relationship when like Folklore and Evermore are the saddest, most heartbreaking albums? And Midnights. She's just like depressed. How we were like, this cover for Midnights looks like a Lexapro ad. Girly is sad out of her fucking mind, and everyone's still like, she's in love.
I know.
No, she was in love, and if she's in, like, I'm not saying she can't be in love now again, but it's so depressing and sad.
Yeah.
I'm like, how are you reading this as her "I'm in Love with Joe" album?
Yeah. No. Maroon is so heartbreaking.
Maroon is so heartbreaking.
Track list, like, fuck.
The whole thing is so, but Dear Reader in particular is her really being like, I'm not gonna come out. And you know what? I've made peace with it. I also think that she's definitely what you said earlier about her leaning in. You know, you make a lot of money when people are constantly buying your shit, investing in your shit to like fight against each other to prove their points. She makes a lot of money from like the Gaylor discourse, honestly, because like also you're getting a whole target audience that you kind of want but cannot explicitly ask for. It's kind of best of both worlds.
You know what I just thought of?
Tell me.
You know how Taylor Swift references like a man or like I'd be the man is not the right one, but like she's like, I have my man and whatever, like in all of her songs, or she's like, I've got my boyfriend or blah 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 blah. I feel like that's like, you know, when people overcompensate to hide something, they're like, I'm just gonna like really hammer the nail in, like,
Willow was the one with my man. That's my man.
That's my man. Yeah, I was trying to remember.
No straight woman I know would ever be like, that's my man. Like, ew. First of all, what are you, 13? Like
most people write in like you like that pronoun.
If anything, they write more you pronouns to make it more widely like relatable for everybody.
Sorry, Midnight Rain. Oh, the lyrics. Fuck that. I actually
love Midnight Rain. That's my favorite song.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Did you listen to the stripped down version that she did not release? I prefer that to the Midnight Rain version on the album. But what is the line like? He wanted it comfortable. I wanted that pain.
Sounds gay to me. That's, you know, that is the quintessential lesbian experience of you get to feel so much, and what a privilege it is to like truly feel deeply. But yeah, the heartbreak is kind of wrecks you because it's so intense. You're feeling so much.
I feel like it can also be read like, he wanted it comfortable. I wanted that pain, as in like, she is queer. She doesn't. She wants to want what he wants, but she can't because she doesn't feel that way about him because he's a man.
I actually like that interpretation. Wow, I didn't think of it that way.
Wow,
I like it. Wow, yeah, actually,
yeah.
And you know what? Here's a testament: the fact that we can have multiple queer readings of the what is like. You know, I like to think I don't live so far in delusion.
10-minute video about Question and how someone was saying it's a queer song. Like, I could not tell you anymore because it was 10 minutes long, and
we'll link it.
The ADHD I don't know if I'll find it.
We won't link
it. But I'll try.
You'll find it.
Yeah, you'll find it. But like every song on this album. Yeah. You know what? I saw a song. So Labyrinth, I appreciate more now after I saw someone's interpretation where like the chorus is like, oh, I'm falling in love. Oh no, I'm falling in love. Or what is it? No. Oh, I'm falling in love. No. It's I'm falling in love.
That's a hard skip song for me, so I don't know anything about it.
It was for me too until I heard this interpretation. So I think it's like, oh, I'm falling in love. Oh no, I'm falling in love. Anyways, I saw someone say like, it's like, oh, I'm falling in love, like, oh shit, I'm falling in love, and then oh no, I'm falling in love, like, no, this can't happen again, and then oh, I'm falling in love, and it was like hopeful, and I was like, that's kind of cute.
That is cute.
Okay, Taylor.
You know, even the lyrics from Sweet Nothing I really appreciated.
I do not like Sweet Nothing. Maybe
like,
the lyrics I'm sure are fine, but I can't.
Oh no, the vibe is like whatever.
It's so boring.
I like the lyrics of Sweet Nothing. I agree, the song itself is like pretty boring.
Yeah.
But there's another line in that. This is like not really gay, but it's something that I interpreted and like I relate to myself. There's a part where she's like, I showed you a poem I wrote on the way home, and you were like, What a Mind. This happens all the time.
Yes.
And everyone read it as like, oh, like he loves, like he always gasses her up. As a poet, you know how I heard that like, oh, people say this shit all the time about how good my poetry is and how great of a mind I have and how creative and brilliant I am, but like this happens all the fucking time. Like they can't actually handle it. They're just like, oh, cute poem. I saw another video that was like, that's how somebody else interpreted it as well. And I was like, honestly, yeah, if you're a writer or a poet or honestly a creative in a lot of ways, you know what it's like to like you show a new person your shit and they're like, wow, you're like so like, and I'm like, you know, I guess, but like wait till you have to deal with me having a personality, you know what I mean? Like it's so cute when someone you're like, wow, that's a poet, until the poet writes a poem about you. Writer in the dark MP3 Lord.
Yes, oh my god,
it has that vibes. Like you love a creative till they start being creative about you, till you be their muse, you know, then it's not so fun. I actually have a lot of empathy for, I think, people who I consider muses, because I'm like, you know, I'm sure it's hard to have like books and books and books and songs and songs and songs written about you, but I'm nobody, so it doesn't matter. You know, when you're somebody, then it becomes like a thing. But anyways, that was neither here nor there.
I think we can go into our song of the week.
Should it be like a Taylor song or no? Totally.
Oh,
yeah, I'm okay with. Okay, sure. Yeah,
I don't think I like Midnights enough to choose it as a song of the week. To be fair,
so okay
sorry,
with that.
Taylor.
No. She'll be fine. That's okay.
She'll be fine. I can go first though.
Yeah, please do. I don't have
a
one.
good like second option. It was like what I was listening to before Ray. The Carly Rae Jepsen album is very good.
What's your favorite song?
Beach House. It's like basically like all these boys are like shit and they all just like hunt women and then toss them aside, and like she's like, boy number one,
you did the
boy
cover
number
for this.
one made a picnic for two. I thought it was sweet. I saw he was nervous. I thought it was cute, until I found out that his mom made the food. It was good though. Boy number two had a beautiful face. I highly agreed to go back to his place, and his wife really had some impeccable taste. She was sweet though.
Oh my god,
Carly went off. And the whole album's really good.
Somebody broke her heart.
That was like, it's all over TikTok right now. It's like,
oh, I'm coming back to you, baby.
Yeah. Coming back. The song's really good too. I like it, but you know. Anyways.
What happened? Did somebody like break her heart? Something like what happened? Why is she in her villain era?
Sad. The album is sad,
right? But it's like villain era shit. It's like a fuck you album.
Yeah.
So
she's like, go find yourself or whatever.
Oh yeah. Listen, I hate to say it, but the best albums
are the villain era
albums, guys. Yeah. It just hits. It just hits. I love when people are genuinely happy, but you know that that's their worst album. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
My reputation is Taylor Swift's best album.
Exactly. Okay, I'll check it out. I liked it. We'll add it to Slaylist playlist.
Yes.
Mine, I don't know. I'm between a few. You know, I'm gonna go OG. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna say Chelsea Cutler released a new song called Men on the Moon. I think some people would find it maybe like too like chill or whatever, but I really like her genre of chill. She also produces all her own music.
Nice.
And she's like, she writes all her own lyrics. She's like truly singer-songwriter and really advocates for like women to learn how to produce their own shit, because she's like, there's so much that you can do and like so much creative direction that you can have. And I just really like her. I've been following her for like years and years and years since high school. I think she consistently releases like very good songs with very clean production that she does all by herself. Mm-hmm. But she's just a smaller artist, so she doesn't get a lot of attention as much. But she has a new song called Men on the Moon, and she's really trying to push it. So this is me doing my part, Chelsea, to promote your song, because it is actually really good. But it has more like lo-fi, chill, vibey. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's good for like a late night drive, I think. So I'll add that too.
I would agree.
Yeah. And honestly, the theme of this song is really sweet. It's like the main line is like, we put men on the moon, but I still don't know how to get to you. Like we did all these things in this world, and like we still find it so impossible to like talk to each other. And I was like, honestly, bars. Yeah. Bars.
Isn't she
bars.
queer?
She is. She's fully queer. Has a cute little girlfriend named Tilly. Which
Tilly, that's so
Tilly,
cute.
I know. I think her.
Is she British?
No, they're both like American.
Tony, no.
I know, seriously. I don't know what her full name is. It's like a nickname for her full name, but her I guess nickname, her name is Tilly. They like live in New York City together, I guess.
Cute.
I think, I don't know, I'm not sure. I think that's true. And they are like friends with like Shannon and them, like, yeah,
Of course
you know
they
what I
are.
mean?
Yeah.
But they seem really wholesome and like cute, and they're like beach lesbians, you know what I mean? They're not actually, I don't think they identify as lesbians, but they're like beach gays. They're like cute and like comfy and like whatever. They have that kind of aesthetic and vibe.
Very cute.
And yeah, I love that. I love it for them and me and everyone involved, because when I first discovered her, she had a boyfriend. And then but I knew, you know how you just know, and then she came out and she like had this girlfriend. And if you listen to NJ by her, it's a whole song about Tilly, because they broke up and they got back together, and she wrote a whole album being like, come back to me, like I love you, like I'll wait forever for you. And that song is so good.
Wow.
Highly recommend.
Very good. Nice.
Thank you, everyone.
Yes, thank you.
See you next time.
Yes, see you.
Bye.